Happy New Year. Can you believe it? It's a new year. How fun. I hope it's off to a good start. Clear vision for our health plan for this year. So what are we doing about it, guys? What are we doing? So what's the thing I'm hearing most? Oh my gosh, even if I didn't mean to, I indulged. I'm in sugar shock. I drank too much. There were too many sweets. There was just too much pasta, too much this, that, and the other thing. The holidays are often a time of excess. So let's look at it and say, hope you had a great holiday season. If you were indulging, sometimes a little indulgence or even a big indulgence is good for the soul. But most importantly, let's just smile about it. Let's enjoy that we did it, and let's get back to our focus. Hi, Debbie, welcome, on the health for this year ahead. So, really what are we focused on here? Helping you press the reset button. What do we need to do? We need to reset the blood sugars. We need to reset our digestive system. We need to reset our pH balance. And most importantly, most of us need to reset our relationship with food. So there's a lot of resetting going on. And, now is the perfect time. Now, as we know, benefit of doing all of it, we're going to burn some body fat. Yay! Had to bring my toy back. Ooh! Yeah. It is big, it's a polyurethane model, but this is a model of 1 pound of body fat. Ah, wiggly and jiggly. So, we want to reset things. We want to put this back in its place, which is not that much of it on our body. But more importantly, let's focus on feeling good. How many people have said to me over the past week, I really want to come back, but I've been eating so much sugar. I think I have to sugar detox first. And look, I am not one to ever pressure any of you to do anything, right? Your body, your journey. I am here to encourage you. If I think you need a swift kick in the ass, I'll give it to you. But I'm also here to be your biggest cheerleader. And I'm going to challenge you to really think, and I might play devil's advocate, but what do we want for you? We want the best for you. We want to bring the best out of you. But we're never going to tell you what you have to do. We're going to encourage you. We might push you a little, but we're never going to force you, right? I'm not going to guilt you into doing things. This is your body, your journey. You're going to come when it's the right time for you. But when somebody says, I think I need to detox from the sugar before I come back to Acuvate, and I think, in my head, I'm laughing, going, well, what do you think this is? It's a detox, right? Healthy way to eliminate the sugars and rebalance those blood sugars. So a couple questions that came up specifically related to that is, look, if you have been indulging in alcohol, if you've been indulging in too many sugars, cookies, sweets, etc., if your blood sugars have been on the, kind of up and down cycle because of the holiday season. And again, look, I drank more alcohol than usual and I ate more cookies than usual. It's more around us. There are more festivities and there's more opportunity. And as I talked about, look, I've had 2 friends lose parents in the past 2 weeks, and being around grieving is often also being surrounded by food. Now, they both happen to be Jewish friends. We were sitting Shiva. There's always more cookies and cakes and things around a Shiva household, but I've seen the same thing at wakes, and I've seen the same thing with some friends who are Hindi and Muslim. So it seems that grieving and excess sugars seems to be a universal grieving tool. So it's not just the joyful celebrations. Unfortunately, the grieving celebrations or the grieving get-togethers are also cookie and cake and food surrounded and often tied back with some alcohol. So all of these things do play some havoc with our blood sugar. And hi, Donna, welcome. So when we are experiencing these blood sugar highs and lows, and let's be honest, we all know when we've had all that sugar, we get a little bit of a sugar high, but as it drops out, man, I feel so sluggish, I'm not feeling great, not all good. So the sugar, it makes all these highs and lows. So as we're kind of getting back to our norm and to our baseline, and if we have had more alcohol and more sugars in our diet, we might be experiencing some symptoms of withdrawal. Now, the best descriptions, if you wake up in the morning or sometime during the day, you have to figure out with the camera, you're a little shaky. That's a sign of some low blood sugar. If you're feeling just really sluggish, but you know that you've had enough sleep, but you're just very dragging and you're just not feeling like yourself, again, there are some viruses going around, but there's a good chance that's some low blood sugar. Hi, Doc Abby, welcome. And also, and it's often a hormonal thing, so women know related to their menstrual cycle, but even men can feel this. You feel like almost my best description is like your teeth are on edge. It's like, say hello to me wrong and I'm gonna snap. That often is a symptom of some erratic blood sugar. So very simply, while you're going back into the detox and you're trying to level out your blood sugars and get past these awkward feeling moments or uncomfortable moments, take a teaspoon of honey, dissolve it in some hot tea or hot water, sip it. It's going to put a nice steady floor under your blood sugar, and you're going to start to feel better in under 10 minutes. Now, you do that as needed. If you know you've been on a serious sugar binge and you're really concerned, then let's get proactive. What you do is you take that honey, you dissolve it in the hot tea or hot water, and proactively you have it every 4 hours so that the body starts to see very consistent pattern. Here's where the sugar's coming, here's where the sugar's coming, here's where the sugar's coming. And when the body, we know our body loves patterns. So if we give it the pattern of when the honey is coming, then the body can start to rely on that, and it calms down. And it says, okay, I got this, I got this. And usually in a day or two, you're feeling better. Now, we know if you're here in the Northeast where I am, it's a bit chilly out. I ran out a couple times on errands. And I will say there's definitely a nip in the air that hasn't been there. So right now, a cup of hot tea, really happy about that. So dissolving a teaspoon of honey in hot tea, easy peasy because it is cold out. But let's say you're in Florida or California. If you're in these warmer climates and you're just not in the mood for something hot, what you can do is brew a whole pot of tea. So boil water, and let's make it simple math. A quart, 32 ounces of water. And then you can either do tea bags, whatever flavor you like, and again, steep it to the taste that you like. For every 8 ounces, again, if we've boiled 32 ounces of water divided by 8, that's 4 teaspoons of honey. So we're going to dissolve the honey in. Now we can take the brand Real Lemon and pour in some lemon juice, or we can use the brand True Lemon and use the crystallized lemon packets, and we can mix that in. Or again, we can use some tea or herbal infusions. Take the whole thing. Once the key is melting the honey. Once the honey is melted in, take the whole thing, put it in some kind of pitcher or container, and stick it in the fridge overnight. So now you actually have lemonade or iced tea, again, of any flavor that you like, with honey already dissolved in it. And that honey dissolved in it is the key for balancing blood sugar. So if you're doing it cold, you're going to take 8 ounces of that, right? 1/4 of it, because we made 32. So you've got 4 servings in that. And every 4 hours, you're going to drink a glass of that iced tea or that iced lemonade that already has the honey dissolved in. So the key is dissolving the honey. Honey is low glycemic. It's not going to spike our blood sugar. Again, going to give you a slow, steady floor under your blood sugar. But honey on a spoon, if you haven't dissolved it, your body has to break that down. That's going to take 40 to 45 minutes, and it's putting your body to work, which is actually using blood sugar. So that's counterproductive. So the key is melting or dissolving the honey. That's going to make simple access to the glucose, and when you consume it, and it's already dissolved, in approximately 5 to 8 minutes, your body's going to start getting the benefits. So again, very simple way to balance blood sugar. And again, for those of you who've just joined us, if you're feeling, learning the camera, sorry, it's mirror image, or it's not mirror image, little shaky. If you're feeling a little shaky, that's a sign of low blood sugar. If you're feeling a little sluggish, or almost when you stand up, not that you feel faint, but if you've ever been out in the sun too long, you stand up and you're like, ooh, I feel a little woozy. That kind of feeling, you haven't been drinking, you almost feel a little drunk. Or again, my teeth feel like they're on edge. If you say something to me wrong, I'm so wound up, but I can't explain it. Those are all symptoms of low blood sugar. So again, this very simple remedy, like honey dissolved in hot tea or hot water, or we just talked about how to make it cold. These are all simple ways to put a floor under the blood sugar. Now you can use it randomly as needed, but if you do feel, again, coming off the holidays, where you might have been drinking more, eating more sugars, indulging more, and you're concerned that you really are having erratic blood sugar, be proactive. Every 4 hours, do it for a few days, and you're going to notice yourself leveling off. It is not going to sabotage any detoxing, any weight loss, or even any maintenance, and it's going to support overall blood sugar. If your blood sugar is erratic and you're not dealing with it, simple way to address blood sugar is eating. And so the problem is, if you're eating to balance blood sugar, and of course, if you eat and your blood sugar is low, you're going to feel better. But if your body wasn't looking for that nutrition and that calorie, that's how you're going to start gaining weight. So our way of doing it is going to avoid weight gain and take control of those blood sugars. So really simple, really effective, and again, going to work with your detox, weight loss, or maintenance as compared to sabotaging you. So it's going to help you, again, press that reset button on your blood sugars. So let's talk about hydration. Again, weather shifts, holiday, being out of routine, people are not drinking their water. People are noticing if they've been on program, they're losing fat, scale's not moving the way they expected. And I've been reviewing people's food logs. And what is it telling me? Most of us are not drinking enough water. So again, part of it's weather, part of it's change of routine, part of it is I just don't like water, or I don't want cold water because it's cold out. I don't want hot water because every different whatever. So first of all is know what you like, okay? Know what you like and make a commitment. We need to get back into a routine, and if we're not properly hydrated, we're probably going to overeat. Now again, I even over the holidays kind of gave up my fabulous favorite new thing, which is my Circle. This is flavored water, but what I like is the water itself is not flavored. The flavor lives in this little tube, and as I drink, it's almost like a straw. It sucks the flavor in, and I like it because it's got a little dial here, and I can dial up or dial down the flavor, and I can change this and get different flavors. I like it because it's very portable. I use filtered water from my fridge. It feels good in my hand, fits in my cup holder, and I enjoy drinking from it. My daughter loves it too, so she is one as well. And a handful of clients who have told me that they've followed up and gotten one are enjoying it. Look, there are many different water bottles out there, a lot of different infusers. Maybe you like plain water, maybe you like flavored water, however you enjoy it, but have a strategy. Now, many of us, and I'll be honest, I'm working long hours lately, and I am reliant on my caffeine in the morning, no question. And how many of you are the same? Gotta get my cup of coffee in the morning, gotta have it. But here's the key. We don't want to start our day with the coffee. Now, again, we can have it in the morning. We don't want to start our day with it. Overnight, we dehydrate, right? All the hours that we are sleeping, we're not consuming anything. So during that time, we're dehydrating, and our body's actually detoxing and cleansing itself. That's why we wake up in the morning, and the first thing we all do is we run to the bathroom and we urinate. And usually it's the most yellow urine of the day because the toxins leaving our body are concentrated in the urine, and we have less fluid in our body because we haven't been consuming all night while we're sleeping. So we start our day dehydrated. So we already know that, right? We haven't consumed anything. And that, by the way, is when we wake up, we go to the bathroom. The best time to weigh yourself is that first thing in the morning. Just went to the bathroom, no clothes, get on the scale. Because as we all know, fluid is dense. Fluid has a big impact on the scale. So the least amount of fluid in our body is first thing in the morning when we wake up. We just went to the bathroom, get on the scale, and that's going to be your quote unquote truest weight of the day. There's always mitigating factors with the scale, but that's going to be your truest weight of the day if you're hung up on the scale. So again, now we have this landscape of we are dehydrated. Coffee, even though it's liquid, is a dehydrator. So if coffee is going to further dehydrate us, we're starting out the day set up to fail. Because when we're dehydrated, our body and our brain starts to scream, starving, famished, ravenous, and we start to get that growling belly. Now, we want to get ahead of that. Very simply, we don't want that to happen, right? We don't want to be tempted by food, starving. We don't want to be tempted by food because we're dehydrated or because we had a cup of coffee. So what we want to do is we want to start our day with water. Ideally, really 16 ounces. Now, at minimum, I'd say a cup, 8 ounces of water, but more ideally would be 16 ounces of water. Now, I don't like cold water, especially first thing in the morning, so what I tend to do is I fill this the night before, and so it's sitting on my nightstand overnight. It's room temp. What I like is because it's sealed, there's not any dust or anything getting into my bottle. I wake up, I go to the bathroom. I usually bring this with me because I'll brush my teeth, start drinking my water. As I'm doing my morning routine, getting my daughter up, getting dressed, making lunch, doing all the things I need to do, I'm sipping my water. I typically finish it, use the bathroom before we leave, and either if I have time, I brew a cup of coffee, or after I drop my daughter at school, I run to Dunkin' Donuts and I get my coffee. So I'm still having my morning coffee, but I'm doing it after my water. This way, my coffee and my caffeine are something that is serving me, right? I'm getting my caffeine boost. I know I'm sleep deprived. I love my cup of joe, and many of us do. But how many of us is that coffee sabotaging us? So it's as simple as starting your day with some water. It's just changing the order, right? And again, what happens is the habit is go get the coffee. And that's why sometimes doing something as simple as keeping the bottle of water either on your nightstand or in the bathroom, so that when you've gone to the bathroom and you go to wash your hands, you see it. It's going to remind you to do this, because absentmindedly, you're going to go to the coffee pot if it's part of your morning routine. So we need to do something. Habits are the things we do without thinking. So how to start creating a new set of behaviors and carve a new path and start forming new habits is putting visual stimulants, visual reminders in place that can help us alter our behavior. So again, put the bottle of water, the cup of water, the glass, the whatever you're going to do, or put yourself a little sign, drink water, whatever's going to be most effective for you. Put it somewhere that, look, you may be a great morning person and roll out of bed in the morning. Me, I'm a night owl. I am not with it at all in the morning. So I'm completely going by rote. I roll out of bed, I go through my pattern purely and robotically, right? I'm not a good morning person. So I have to have those morning cues there or they're not going to happen. So if you're anything like me, hi Robin, hi Dory, welcome, that, having that bottle, and again, I don't care what brand, I don't care if it's infused, plain, whatever, but having that bottle there ensures I don't forget to start my day that way. And that's the key, right? You want to be able to do it absent-mindedly. I see the bottle, I grab it, it goes with me to the bathroom. Whoop. Now I didn't think. It just went with me. It only takes 3 weeks, 21 days of intentional repeated behavior to form a habit. So if I intentionally for 21 days put that bottle on my nightstand and take it with me to the bathroom, as I go into week 4, it's starting to be something I do without thinking. I reach over. So what's funny now is on a random night where I might forget to put my water bottle, because it's a habit now, I reach over for the water bottle, and if it's not on my nightstand, I'm like, where's my water? And I'll actually snap out of my routine and go to the kitchen and get water, because the habit now is to have the bottle in my hand while I walk to the bathroom. So it's all about just creating a new pathway of behaviors that are going to serve you. So again, let's start our day hydrated. Minimum 8 ounces, ideally around 16 ounces in that first hour of being awake. Then we go to the coffee or the tea. So that's number 1. Again, while on Activate, no milk in the morning, but you can still enjoy that cup of black coffee. And people have been asking, but what do you do with black coffee? Walden Farms does have the 0-calorie coffee creamers. You can use vanilla extract. And again, I don't tend to be a flavored coffee person, but I do find that vanilla flavored coffee allows me to drink black coffee. I can't drink it black on its own, and I don't tend to use sweetener, but flavored with sweetener is okay. And I've been using the New Naturals. They have it's stevia based vanilla extract or vanilla syrup, and I've been putting that in my black coffee in the morning. And look, I much prefer my coffee with milk. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's palatable when I'm in a position where I'm not using milk before 12 o'clock. Now, on maintenance, milk in my coffee anytime. So in maintenance, yes. But I'm in phase 2, I'm in stabilization, so there's no milk in the morning, and I need to, right now I'm hooked on my coffee. So I'm using the New Naturals vanilla syrup. There is also Sweet Leaf brand. They have vanilla extract or stevia, liquid stevia. There are many brands out there. I mean, where we're really blessed now. Hi, Anna, welcome. Where we're really blessed now, 20 some odd years ago, there were very few natural products available. Anna asks, can we place honey in our coffee? I'll be honest, I've never tried honey in my coffee. It doesn't mentally gel for me. But yeah, I mean, especially we're talking about, especially to balance blood sugar, we want to dissolve honey in something hot. So if honey and hot coffee works for you, by all means. Somehow for me, the tastes don't mentally go together. But I'll be honest, I never tried it. So if it tastes good together, go for it. But again, there's hazelnut, there's almond extracts. People like all different types of flavors. So do feel free. There are various liquid stevias. There's liquid monk fruit and flavored monk fruit now. There's our xylitol. There's erythritol. There's so many natural sweeteners available to us now, and so many different brands. So often if we've come across something and we have personal experience, we'll share it with you. But if you come across something and it looks interesting and it's 0 calorie and it's natural, by all means, feel free to try it or pass the brand by us. We're happy to review any product for you if it looks interesting and you're not sure if it is chemistry-wise, if it's legal. So always feel free to pass things by us. And we enjoy learning about new brands and new products, and that's how we can then introduce them to you. Now, also a reminder, in hydration, we want to include some electrolytes. So if you don't feel like starting your day, like you're looking for something with flavor, you can start your day with some electrolyte water. You all know one of my long-term favorites, which is the Noon brand, which are the electrolytes that come in tablet form. And recently we've been working with Ultima, who's been kind enough to send us a whole giant box of samples, which I've been passing along to all of you. I hear the sample packs they gave us have pomegranate cherry and lemonade, and the pomegranate cherry seems to be a real winner with all of you. And I will tell you, if you go to on our website at recipes, if you put your cursor over the recipes menu item, you'll see something that says recommended products. And there is a link there to Ultima Replenisher. And they do offer a 15% off coupon at their website. So if you're enjoying it, if you've tried the samples or you want to try it on your own and you haven't had a chance to get it from us, you can get a 15% off coupon there. But that's a great way also to start your day and get some water in. They say to add it into half a liter, which is 16.9 ounces. For me personally, I don't like things that flavored. I don't like things that sweet. A liter of water instead. So if I dilute it more, I'm going to consume the water, so that's not an issue. And so it stretches it out. It reduces the flavor, so it's not quite as potent. I'm going to drink the water anyway, so it gives my water a little more variety. So that's another thing you can do. Now, it's already one of my quick tips, but not everybody's seen them all. And hey, sometimes we've heard something and we forgot about it. So another great way to keep hydrated throughout our day, little bathroom Dixie cups. We're going to use that for a shot of water. Whoop. Shot of water once an hour. Now, that little bathroom Dixie cup, that is about, because you're not going to fill it to the top, you're talking about 3 ounces of water. Now, good chance you're not going to remember every hour. So let's say that you're actually up for a 16-hour day. Most of us are not getting a full 8 hours sleep, but let's be kind and say we're being really good to ourselves and we're getting 16 hours up, 8 hours of sleep. Okay, let's say throughout the day we forgot, or again, we started our day with 16 ounces, so we don't need a shot of water first thing in the morning. And throughout the day, a couple times we forgot. So let's say 12 times throughout the day we did a shot of water. 12 times 3 is 36 ounces of water. So right there, we've added more than a liter. We've added more than a liter with no pain, very little effort, and a small amount of water consistently throughout the day will give us more hydration than having guzzled an extra liter of water sometime during the day. So a simple way to add an entire liter of water to your day, right? And we say minimum water is 64 ounces. Maximum water should really be about a gallon, 128 ounces. And what's ideal for you is probably somewhere in the middle, which is take your body weight, divide by 2. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be consuming about 100 ounces, a little over 3 liters a day. And how are you going to get that in? For many people, that's really challenging. So again, little bathroom Dixie cup, once an hour, whoop, quick shot of water. Painless, not a large quantity. Once we get into the routine, it's easy to keep doing. And really painlessly and with some consistency, we're really properly hydrating our body and adding in a whole extra liter of water every day. And that, again, if you're doing it while you're detoxing, if you're doing it while you're losing weight, again, this time next month, it's a habit. How cool is that? What's a month? Nothing. What's 3 weeks of our time? Nothing. So we make a little plan. Again, our phones, they have alarms. Can't remember? Set the alarm. Or, one way to make it simpler, and somebody said to me, I don't have an iPhone, but I'm betting that your Samsung or whatever Android that you have, if you have a smartphone, it's got a timer in here. So besides the alarm, there's a little thing that says timer. So set the timer, oops, for 1 hour. I think we're mirror image, but you can see, oh, I think it's okay. There you go. You can actually see it. So if you set it for 1 hour and you do your shot of water and you hit start, it's going to count down. When it goes off, instead of turning it off, you hit restart, because the start's going to turn into restart. Press it again, it's going to start counting down an hour. So instead of having to set multiple alarms, all you have to do is hit start, let it count down, and when it goes off, let it start counting for you again. So every time it goes off, that's your reminder, do a shot of water. So it's that simple. But again, we want to hit a reset on our body. We want to reset that detox. We want to reset our blood sugars. We want to reset our digestion. How many of you, and I'll be honest, it's so rare for me to get constipated because I'm a good water drinker. I like my salads. You know, I've gotten into good routines over my years of maintenance outside of the recent setback I had with stress eating. Look, I eat a pretty healthy diet. I've learned a lot in my journey from AccuWeight, both from my own journey and, quite honestly, I learned from all of your journeys. So it's really rare for me to have an issue in the bathroom. But I was not eating my norm over the holidays. More alcohol, more cookies, less salads. When I did have it, I had it. But when I didn't, there were actually days, which is so unlike me, where I didn't have any. And I definitely had some more bathroom issues over the holidays. So I want to reset my digestion. And by the way, I already have, and I'm feeling good. But many of you are telling me that, you know, you're feeling stopped up. And again, so resetting that digestive system is really important. And again, often one of the reasons that we're getting constipated is that we are mildly dehydrated. And the one place that the body can reabsorb fluid is from the bowel. So if you're dehydrated, or I should say, if you're feeling constipated, there is a chance that the cause is mild dehydration. So by doing this little routine, adding a little shot of water every hour, all of a sudden, often somebody will say to me, wow, I'm going regularly again, and it feels good. Well, the body doesn't have to steal the water from your colon anymore because you're giving it this way. You don't have to take it back the other way. So it can solve many problems that we don't realize. Also, if you're walking around very headachy a lot, sometimes that feeling of stress, headache, and we're not talking migraines. If you're a migraine sufferer, that's something different. But often we're walking around just a little headachy and we don't know why. Sometimes we're mildly dehydrated, and again, the brain is, it just doesn't have quite what it needs. So it's amazing how something so simple, little shot of water once an hour, can actually help improve how you feel. So again, we are hitting this reset button on how we feel. Again, same thing, from the cookies, the alcohol, the eating, the fried food, the 7 fishes, the pastas, the whatever the traditions are, more turkey, more ham, more bacon, more whatever. I've just heard more of everything over the past month. And all this more really can upset your pH balance. Goes back to those high acidity levels. How many people have told me? And again, I'll even include me. I have a hiatal hernia. When I eat well, my pH balance is good. I don't get any acid reflux. But I can tell you, the last 2 weeks of December wasn't a problem actually at the beginning. But those last 2 weeks of December, oh, I'm getting that acid cough. I know when I eat. And I know it's from acid. And I'm running for the Rolaids because it gives me some relief. I know my body got more acidic. Many of us are getting that acid reflux. We're getting the little stomach aches. The IBS is acting up and various things. So we need to reset that pH balance. So that's where, you know, okay, we've reset our blood sugars. Hi, Kristen, welcome. We've reset our blood sugars. Now we've reset our hydration levels. We need to reset our pH balance. We're getting acidic again. And so again, when I talk to people, they're saying, well, I'm going to hold off on AccuWeight right now because I want to reset my blood sugar. I need to withdraw from sugar. Well, more importantly, we need to reset that pH balance and start feeling good again. Let's get rid of those aches and pains that are coming from inflammation, from too much acid. And sometimes, look, like I'm on stabilization. If I don't clear this up myself, I will go back on AccuWeight beads and the basic plan in phase 1. I'll go back on for a week, because even like a 10-day cycle is going to reset my pH balance. So I am playing this week with repeating week 1, or a very simple version of week 1 for my stabilization. I will say my acid is significantly down. I'm not convinced my blood sugars are where they're supposed to be and that my acid levels are where they're supposed to be. You know what? There is no shame in doing a quick tune-up week if you're on maintenance, purely for the reset, right? By doing our 2-day, 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 2-day cycle, we're cleaning out the large intestine, we're resetting our blood sugars, and we're resetting our pH balance, right? That's what the detox actually is. Now, sometimes we can do it with a modified, simplistic version of food, and that's what I'm doing this week because I'm on stabilization. But there is no shame. There's nothing wrong. Just like if your car isn't running well, even if you just had a tune-up, if you took a long drive and you put more wear and tear on your car, you might take it back to the mechanic for a tune-up or an oil change sooner than you might have if you were just doing your regular driving. So if you think about it, this is your vehicle, right? This is my car. This is my only vessel. This is my vehicle that I live in and I walk around in, right? You've got yours and you only get one. So if you think of it like a car, regular maintenance would be a tune-up a few times a year. You take it in, you get an oil change, they tweak things, and then the car is running great. But if you go on a several thousand-mile drive, you drive cross-country, I bet you're going to take that car in for a tune-up and an oil change sooner than you would have otherwise. It's the same thing. There's no shame in doing a tune-up. That's just recognizing you put more wear and tear on the vehicle and it needs some attention. Now, right now for me, I'm doing that, and we've talked about this a little bit. Robin actually had asked about this in the AccuWeight online community. So again, today we're on the main Facebook page. If you're not already part of it, we have this wonderful online community. It is private to our clients, and if you're not already a member, you can find it at the website. As long as you're a client or a maintainer, you will be welcomed into the group. So Facebook rules about a private group. You have to fill out a form, give us your basic Facebook and email information. We verify that you're a client, and then you get an email invitation in. But we were talking about in that group, like, how can I do a detox or reset if I'm not on plan? And like me, I'm in stabilization, so I'm not on beads, I'm not on plan, but I still need to do something. So the simple answer is a slightly modified version of week 1 of stabilization. Now, normally stabilization week 1 is the same for everybody. It's week 2 and onward that are custom tailored to the person. So the first week of stabilization is reintroducing food. It's 2 milk days, 5 days fruits, vegetables, chicken, fish, and we pick other protein sources or light proteins if you don't eat chicken and fish. Now, if you want to do a cleanse, chicken and fish can be a little harsh, or specifically, depends on your system. So you might want to do, for example, I'm doing 2 milk days. I'm using fish and eggs, and I was going to do legumes and eggs, but I had a wonderful opportunity for a beautiful dinner out Saturday night, so I went with fish, and staying away from grains, staying away from starches. Right now, because it's acidic, I'm staying away from vinegar. I can have vinegar on stabilization, but again, I'm trying to reset my pH balance, so I'm staying away from the vinegar, which is an acid. And instead of only doing 2 milk days, I'm doing 2 milk days, 2 eating days, 1 extra milk day, and 2 eating days, and just keeping my foods very simple. Now, that in and of itself It's going to give me a cleanse, and it's going to help me reset without putting my metabolism at risk, not reducing calories for a significant period of time, and I don't have beads on. Honestly, a milk day is more challenging without beads, but 1 or 2 milk days just to do a reset are not going to hurt you without beads. Will that same tune-up be easier with beads? Without question. So I haven't totally decided. I haven't put on beads at the moment. I'm doing okay. The key is keeping hydrated, although I haven't drank while I'm talking to all of you. I've been drinking all day. Starting to feel the dry mouth though. So, there are ways to do this. And again, we're here to guide you. So each of you has a specific situation. If you need help deciding what's the best path, again, we're never going to push you to go on beads, go on the program, unless you know what's right for you. Now, many of you have reached out to us and been like, I got to start now. So again, we're here and you're welcome to, right? There's no better time to get a jump on your health plan and hit that reset button than right now. Now, I laugh because, when we did our artwork, all I kept thinking is everybody's looking for the easy button, right? The Staples easy button. And there's no such thing as an easy button when it comes to our path to health, when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to weight maintenance, when it comes to detoxing. Like, the reality is challenges in the world around us. I joke, 50 years ago, the only celebrity chef was really Julia Child, right? Like, think about it. Chefs have become celebrities. We have a Food Network. We have Cake Challenge, this one, right? The Cake Boss and the Cake Bake Off, and there's the Cupcake Wars, and all we see is baking and food and cooking and things and whatever. So we've elevated food to celebrity status. So bottom line is, it's going to be more challenging than it was years ago. There's a lot more variety, and it used to be, look, I grew up, it was a real treat to go out to dinner. Now, maybe because I raised my daughter in the city, it was kind of a normal thing to go out to dinner. She's grown up, it's normal to be in a restaurant. But again, restaurant food is cooked differently than your food at home, and your quantities that are put in front of you. And there's more entertaining, and again, I grew up, there was card night, we sat around, played board games as a family. I remember my parents having, card night where men were playing poker together and the women were playing canasta or mahjong and things. Look, social meant doing something social. These days, most social is, let's go out for dinner, right? I experience it, and it's what I hear from all of you. So this easy button, it doesn't exist. So anything we want is going to experience, any kind of change is going to have some challenge. But I looked at it and said, so let's just make it the reset button, because we have the capability in a very short period of time, a 2-week commitment, 10 days to 2 weeks, and you're going to reset. And in a way, only having to commit for a reset, 10 days to 2 weeks, in a way, that's almost an easy button, right? So we can set out the landscape for our year by just saying, what can I do for the next 2 weeks? Now, another thing somebody pointed out to me, which does make this a simpler time of year, is almost everybody, even like your friends, your social circle, how many people have told me that their social circle has said, I drank too much over the holidays. January is alcohol free. And I want to eat clean, and I feel blah, and whatever. So even if their friends aren't dieting, they're not drinking as much, they're eating cleaner. And so being able to make the commitment you want to yourself, using the tools that you know work, not as challenging as it might be at other times of year, because people around you, well, they're partied out. So it's a great time to kind of re-get your focus. And as most of you know, once you're in the zone, staying in the zone is much less challenging. It's getting into the zone in the first place. Now, I want to also remind you, and it was interesting, my dad and I have been having some really fun talks. Again, he comes from the psychological perspective. I'm a little more analytical because I'm more of the finance operations background, but when you put us together, I think we make a pretty good team and we bring a lot to the table. So you can imagine the Schwartz household as my daughter is sleeping, my dad and I are sitting around together, and literally we sit up. We don't even realize it's 11 o'clock at night. We first start talking. Next thing we know, it's 1:30 in the morning, and we're like, we really should go to sleep now. But we were sitting and talking about what's really what's the underlying stuff here? What's the underlying stuff? What's really going on that makes it not an easy button? And we go back to the same thing you hear us talk about over and over and over. And it's really simple. It doesn't mean it's not challenging, but conceptually it's simple. And you've heard us talk about it over and over and over again. And it's really the parent-child struggle. We have this child. He or she is 5 years old, and they are our source of fun and joy and laughter and recklessness and just our child self. Our parent, our adult self. Our adult self is the one who understands responsibility. Our adult self is the one who understands consequences. Our adult self is the one who has to do the tough work. And holiday season, hey, how many of us as parents, right? Now, I'm Jewish, so we have 8 nights of Hanukkah. I always say, I don't want to give too much. I don't want her to be so overindulged. As a parent, it's really tough to find that fine line from spoiling your kid to, oh, but this is so fun, and this thing they wanted, and oh, I found all these toys that were in the budget, and she's going to love them, and it's so exciting. And on top of it, my daughter's birthday happens to be in December, so we're talking Toy Fest. So my kid is so overindulged over the past few weeks between her birthday and Hanukkah celebrations and New Year celebrations. And we had friends over. We actually had our Muslim friends over for Christmas. And so we have had like just indulgence fest. And I'm not even talking food, just more time with friends, more time playing, more time getting presents, more just unadulterated fun. Fun. How many packages can we open? How many new games can we play? Constant playing. I can tell you that waking up to reality, giving up all the playing and the sleeping late and the staying up late and whatever, and going back to reality, holy crap, that was a challenge. Because what kid can rein in from all of the recklessness, right? And just fewer rules and fewer regulations and fewer constraints and let loose because there's no school. You want to stay up an extra hour? No problem, right? No school tomorrow. You want to play and we got a new toy? Let's do it. Let's enjoy a new toy. Oh, one more toy. Yeah, let's do it. All of a sudden, it's like, let's put it all away and let's get back to school. Bedtime on time. Well, there have been no boundaries. Taking that kid and putting them back into their normal boundary world, oh man, what a fight. Getting a little better, but I can tell you last night was still a fight. Well, what are we experiencing now? Coming back to real life, coming back to a real relationship with food, resetting everything. Our inner child has been having very few rules, regulations, and boundaries because the holidays were more parties, more indulgences, more exposure, even if we didn't, more temptations, more, not our norm. So this child has been running around. And you said, one more cookie. Yeah, one more drink. A little more of this, a little more of that. Ooh, all the different fishes, all the different pastas, all the different, the food looks so good. There was the buffet. I was on the cruise. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But that's not how you normally live. But the child has been running around experiencing all of these things. And now you're bringing he and she back in to our normal boundaries. And guess what? No child wants to go back to boundaries. They are going to fight. Why? Because they need to know whether or not the boundaries are firm again, because there were 2 weeks there, maybe possibly even a month. Maybe it was the whole month of December, all the way since Thanksgiving. All this time, the boundaries, they were loosey-goosey. Maybe they were there for 3 or 4 days a week, but they weren't there for the other days. The messaging is very gray. The lines have been dotted. I don't see the boundaries anymore. So part of what we're experiencing as we go into a reset and we're going back into January is this challenge of retraining our children, our inner child. Here are the safe boundaries. Here's how we live day to day. And for our purposes, we're eating between noon and 6, and we can have our 0-calorie liquids, and there are some legal treats. A legal treat isn't that chocolate chip cookie that's left over from last week. Maybe we need to hide it or put it away or put it out of their reach. We need to get back into the routines of, do we even remember? Kind of resetting up, where are my tools? Where's my water? Where's my flavored water? Did I make my sugar-free Jell-O? Do I have my anytime chocolate pudding? Did I make chocolate bonbons and put them in the freezer? Do I actually have my Dr. John's lollies? Do I have, my dad's been using with people, Tic Tacs has not rebranded, but reformulated. They're now 0-calorie. Now, they do have xylitol. They do have some, I'm reading, artificial flavors. But they do actually use xylitol now. Look at that, which is good for your teeth. So if you don't mind a little artificial sweetener, you've now got a 0-calorie something that you can toss in your mouth. And again, mint is going to keep you occupied. I came across my new favorite Minty Q. They're mints. This is blackberry. I happen to be a berry girl. Found this at the checkout at a supermarket. I'm looking for it online to see if I can find it again, but I'm really enjoying these. Sometimes you just need, again, 0 to 5-calorie little sweet treat you can throw in your mouth, or mint, to deflect. But now's the time. We got to put our tools back in place. We have to re-put up those boundaries. And typically, just like with a child, again, this is your inner child. He or she is 5. Right? So let's not lose sight. They're a 5-year-old. They don't understand consequences, but they know what they want. And they often have temper tantrums when they don't get what they want. And we're trying to get ahead of the temper tantrums. So having a treat that we can offer as a deflect, again, kid says, I want the cookie. And we say, maybe not the cookie, but try the Tic Tac. That's where we go back to my father's magic protocol. Is again, it's grown up talking to child. Sweetheart, I know you really want the cookie. Guess what? I want it too. But I understand the consequences of having that cookie. So instead, I'm going to admit that you and I both want it. I'm going to do my Qigong, and I'm going to give myself a substitute. And as an adult, because I understand the consequences, I'm going to take my control back by taking that substitute. So work in our abs, admit, breathe, substitute. Admit, sometimes we want to say it that way. Inner child, sweetheart, I know that we really want the cookie, and I'm going to admit with you, I want it too. But I know the consequences of having that, and I won't be happy with the consequences. So let's admit that we want it, and admit it out loud. Then do 3 Qigong breaths, and then give yourself a substitute. You still have to have some oral fixation. Now, these are easy to carry around. Again, anything small that's in your pocketbook. But one of the things my dad and I were talking about, you can get the Dr. John's or any kind of 0 to 10 calorie. Again, lollipops are a little bigger, so I'll say 0 to 20 calories in a lollipop. If it's a 20 calorie, it counts as 2, but it's lasting longer. there's still that oral fixation. How many of you, once you've popped a candy in your mouth, forget about it? I certainly know I do. If I'm sucking on a candy, I notice the taste when I first put it in, but then I go back to what I was doing, and mindlessly, it's just in my mouth, and then before I know it, I'm actually chewing on it, and you can hear the cracking, and I'm like, oh, please don't crack a tooth. Psychologically, again, we're still dealing with our inner child. Number one, right now, I know I can't hear you. You can hear me. I want you out loud to say the word lollipop. Just say the word lollipop. Now, I have never been able to have anyone say the word lollipop without smiling. There's something about the word, and there's something about the memory. Because as kids, our parents would never give us a sucking candy because we could choke on a sucking candy. So when we were finally awarded the opportunity to have a treat like that, always had a stick on the end. Because if we have a lollipop sticking out, mom or dad, they can see that stick and they know we're not choking and that we're safe. And guess what happens? You never leave a lollipop fully in your mouth. Now, first of all, it's there and you've got an oral fixation. You can feel the stick on your lip. Because you can feel the stick on your lip, you're never fully absent-minded about it. And more often than not, after a while, the saliva builds up, you take the lolly out, and you put it back in. So there's interaction with it. So first of all, now we're not absent-mindedly having our substitute treat, and a lollipop satisfies that inner child. So it's a great way, especially during these next couple of weeks, and I will even say these next few days, which are going to be the most challenging about getting back into our boundaries. Getting your hands on some all-natural sugar-free lollipops that you can use as a substitute to the treats that you might want are going to go a longer way than you can even imagine. So I highly recommend, if you haven't tried them, the Dr. John's lollies. You can get them online at Amazon, at the Dr. John's website. There is a link again under recommended products. So under recipes in our website, under the menu item recipes, you'll see a link that says recommended products. There is a link to help you find Dr. John's lollies there. On that note, I am going to call it an evening. I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me. Happy New Year. Let's all together press that reset button and let's set a clear vision and a clear pathway to our health. And join us again next Monday night, all of you, for our Facebook Live. And if you have questions or need support in between, our live chat, our online community, email, text, we're here to help. It is our pleasure to serve. Happy New Year. Have a good night.